Good day, students. Welcome to my class. Today we will be talking about word problems on arithmetic sequence. Okay, a mathematical problem is a problem that is amenable to being represented, analyzed, and possibly solved with the methods of mathematics. This can be real-world problems, such as computing the orbits of the planets in the solar system, or a problem of a more abstract nature, such as Hilbert's problems. It can also be a problem referring to our day-to-day living, like buying goods at the market. So today, let's bring the world to the classroom and the classroom to life. Let's go! So we have here table of contents. The first one is we're going to have overview. Let's try to investigate a problem regarding or involving arithmetic sequence, and after that let's try to show it in a graph. And second one, we're going to have word problems. Of course, these are real world problems. Okay, and the last one, we're going to answer activity number 5 using Google form. Okay, let's learn together and solve mathematics problem. So we have here number 1, the overview, and let's try to investigate problems involving arithmetic sequence. Oh, we have here. Okay, so let's suppose to have this problem. Solve the problem below, complete the table, and graph it. Okay, the problem is Auntie Sally sells brownies for 15 pesos each. For every brownie sold, an additional of 15 pesos is added to the income. If she sells 50 pieces of brownies, how much money will she have at the end of the day? Okay, so let's show it in a table, and let's graph it. We have here 2 columns. The first column is the X, which is the number of brownies being sold, and the second column is the Y, which is the income in every brownies that being sold. So we have here 10 brownies being sold, and here if one brownies is being sold, how much is the income? That is 15 pesos, because one brownies is 15 pesos. Now, if there are already 2 brownies being sold, so how much is the income of Auntie Sally? That becomes 30 pesos. It will go on to 45 if there are 3 brownies being sold, 60 if there are 4 brownies, 75, 90 if there are 6 brownies being sold, if there are 7 brownies being sold, that's 105. If there are 8 brownies being sold, so that means Auntie Sally has 120 income now, and until to the 10th brownies being sold, so she has already 150 pesos income. Of course, the more brownies being sold by Auntie Sally, the more income she has. Okay, now let's try to graph these ordered pairs in a Cartesian plane. So we have here a Cartesian plane. The vertical axis is the y-axis, which is your income, Auntie Sally's income, while the x-axis is the horizontal line, which is the number of brownies being sold. Okay, let's try to plot the points. So we have here, if one brownie is being sold, so the income is 15 pesos, right? If there are 2 brownies being sold, so that means the income becomes 30 pesos. And that will go to infinitely. So 5 brownies being sold, so she has already 75 pesos. 6 brownies being sold, so 90 pesos. 7 brownies, that is equal to 105 pesos in all. 8 brownies, that is 120 pesos. 9 brownies, that is 135 pesos. And 10 brownies, that is 150 pesos. Okay, so as you have noticed, the graph is increasing, right? So if you're going to connect that graph, the more brownies being solved, the more income she has. Let's have these process questions. Okay, so we have this one. What is the resulting graph? Based on the graph that we have, based on the graph that I presented you a while ago, what do you think is the resulting graph? What do you think is the resulting graph? Yes, it's a straight line. It goes to the right, right? So it's a straight line. So now, if the graph is a straight line, what kind of function is an arithmetic sequence? Going back when you were in grade 8, you were talking about functionality of a graph. How do we determine if the graph is a function? Of course, by dropping a vertical line test. If that vertical line test intersects only one point, that means that graph is a function. Here, in our resulting graph, it goes up. It goes to the right. So when a vertical line test intersects that line, there is only one point being intersected. That means that is a function. So what kind of function is an arithmetic sequence? That is a linear function, right? It's a linear, it's a one line, it's a line, right? Because the graph is a function, therefore it's a linear function. And I think you are very familiar with it because you had this one when you were in grade 8. Okay, linear function. Okay, let's go to the third question. Can we write it as a formula of an arithmetic sequence? A sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d? If so, then write its equivalent equation. Now, let's identify first if the sequence is arithmetic. So we can see that from the first brownie being solved, that is 15 pesos. If there are 2 brownies being solved, that is 30 pesos. If there are 3 brownies being solved, that is 45 pesos. So you can see the sequence is 15, 30, 45, and so on. So in every term of the sequence, it increases by 15. So that means it is an arithmetic sequence. So we can get its formula. So how to get that? Use the explicit formula. So how to do that? So a sub 1 is equal to 15, and the common difference is also 15. When you're going to simplify that one, the formula is equal to a sub n equals 15 times n. Example, when Auntie Sally is able to solve 3 brownies, that means 15 times 3, that is 45 pesos income. Let's proceed to number 4. How will you relate the slope? How will you relate the slope of the line to the common difference of an arithmetic sequence? Now, going back to your grade 8 lesson, how do we get the slope of the line? So that is how steep the line is. If the line goes to the right, that means there is a positive slope. Goes to the right and falls to the left, that it has a positive slope. When the line falls to the right, rises to the left, it has a negative slope. Since our problem has a graph of or it goes up to the right, that means there is a positive slope. So how do we determine the slope of a line? So just count rise over run. So the rise over run, that is equal to 15. Also, the slope is equal to 15. While the common difference is also 15. So what can you say about the two? So we have here the slope, which is 15. The common difference is also 15. Therefore, the two are equal. Okay? So how can outcomes of certain life problems be predicted? So by getting its formula or rule, if you have already the rule, then you can able to solve and predict that problem. Okay, so let's go to the next. Okay, so what conclusion can we derive from this problem? So let's have the conclusion. So we can say that an arithmetic sequence is a function in which the number of terms, or n, which is the number of brownies being sold, it's the x-axis, is the independent variable. When we say independent variable, it can stand alone. So while the nth term is the dependent variable, which is the y-axis. The dependent variable is the income, while the number of brownies being sold is the independent variable. And the common difference is the slope. Okay? So that is what we can conclude from the given problem a while ago. Try to solve this next problem. What's next? So we have here. So let's try to solve the next problem. The activity is what's next. So there are 20 seats in the front row of a theater. Each successive row contains 2 more seats than the previous row. If there are 18 rows, how many seats are there in the last row of the theater? So let's identify the given. So the first given, since the first row of the theater has 20 seats, therefore a sub 1 is equal to 20. And the next successive row contains 2 more seats than the previous row. Therefore, the second row has 22 seats. The third row has 24 seats, and so on and so forth. Therefore, the common difference is 2. And the question is, how many seats are there in the 18th row of the theater? So n is equal to 18. And we need to identify a sub n, which is a sub 18, which is equal to, we don't know, let's try to solve it. So how many seats are there in the 18th row of the theater? So let's have the solution. Okay, so we are going to use the formula of an arithmetic sequence, and after that, substitute the given. A n is equal to 18 equals a sub 1, which is 20, plus n is equal to 18 minus 1. Your common difference is 2. After that one, let's try to solve the numbers inside the parentheses. 18 minus 1, that is 17, times 2. So a sub 18 is equal to 17 times 2, that is 34. And 34 plus 20, that is 54. So there are 54 seats in the last row of the theater. Process question. So what pattern does the seats of the theater make? What do you think is the pattern of the seats theater make? So we have add 2. We always keep on adding 2 to determine the next number of seats, right? How can you find the number of seats in the succeeding rows? Still, we need to add 2, right? That's too easy. We need to add 2 in order for us to determine the number of seats in the succeeding rows. Number 3 question. How many seats are there in the next 4 rows? So, if there are 18 rows and we are going to identify the next 4 rows, we keep on adding 2. And if there are 54 seats in the 18th row, how many seats are there in the next row? In the 19th row, we have 56 seats. And the 20th row, we have 58 seats. In the 21st row, we have 60 seats. And the 22nd row, we have 62 seats. That's a total of 236 seats. Okay? So, we just add, and this is what we call the series, right? So let's go to number 4. Can you expect this pattern to continue infinitely? Yes, because you have the rule. Once you know the rule of the problem, you can identify the next step. Now let's go to number 5. How can outcomes of a certain real-life problems be predicted? Well, by identifying or by getting its formula and rule. So if you have already the rule or the formula, and it's easy for you to solve the problem. Okay, and I think it's time for you to solve real-world problem. Okay, let's go to number 1 problem. Suppose we have this problem number 1. Kelly is saving her money to buy a car. She has 50,000 pesos and she plans to save 3,750 per week from her job as a call center manager. Now, the question is, letter A, how much will Kelly have saved after 8 weeks? The second question is, if the car's down payment costs 270,000, how long will it take her to save money at this rate? Okay, let's try to solve A first. How much will Kelly have saved after 8 weeks? Now, let's try to identify first the given. Okay, here, n is equal to 8 weeks. A sub 1 is 53,750. Why 53,750? Because Kelly has already 50,000 and the common difference is 3,750 because this is what she plans to save every week. So there is an increase in every term of 3,750 pesos. And let's try to identify, unknown here is A sub 8 or your A sub n, which is the nth term of your problem. Now, let's show the solution. So we are going to use the arithmetic sequence formula. After that, substitute the formula. So we have A sub, your n equals 8, equals, the first term is 53,750. The n is equal to 8 minus 1, and d is equal to 3,750. So here, let's simplify. So 8 minus 1, that is 7, times 3,750, that is 26,250. You just copy this one. So after that, add the 2, 53,750 plus 26,250, that is 80,000 pesos. So you can say that Kelly have saved 80,000 pesos after 8 weeks. Okay, let's now go to the second problem about if the car's down payment costs 270,000 pesos, how long will it take her to save money at this rate? So let's try to identify or write out first the given for you to be guided. So we have here A sub 1 is 53,750. D is 3,750. Your A sub n is 270,000 pesos. And n is now already the unknown. Okay, let's try to solve this one. So using the arithmetic sequence formula, so substitute the given. So after that, you can distribute 3,750 to each of the terms inside the parentheses. So we have here 3,000, we'll just copy 270,000 and 53,000. Then 3,750 times n, that is 3,750 n. Then 3,750 times negative 1, that is negative 3,750. And after that, combine like terms. What are the like terms here? The constant 53,750 minus 3,750, that is equal to 50,000 pesos. And what we have here, plus 3,750 n. Since our goal here is to find n, we need to isolate n. So we will transpose 50,000 to the other side. So 50,000, positive 50,000 transposed to the other side, that becomes negative 50,000. So we have here 270,000 transpose 50,000, that becomes negative 50,000. What's left here at the right side of the equation is 3,750 n. Okay, so subtract 270,000 minus 50,000, that is 220,000 pesos. And since your goal is to find n, so we will divide both sides by 3,750. So your n is equal to 58.6 or 59. So it will take 59 weeks for Kelly to save money at this rate. Okay, let's go to the second problem. Okay, let's have this one. Mario began an exercise program to get back in shape. He plans to row 5 minutes on his rowing machine the first day, and he plans to row 5 minutes on his rowing machine the first day and increase his rowing time by 1 minute and 30 seconds each day. Question letter A. How long will he row on the 18th day? Second, on what day will Mario first row an hour and more? Okay, let's go and try to solve this problem. So we have here the first term, which is 5 minutes. It's his first day of rowing the machine. Next is he is planning to increase to 1 minute and 30 seconds per day. So the common difference is 1.5 minutes. N is equal to 18 because you're going to identify how long will he row on the 18th day. So 18 is the n, and a sub n, which is the a sub 18, is the unknown. So let's try to show the solution. So we have a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times t. That's the arithmetic sequence formula. Substitute a sub n equals 5, which is the first term, plus n minus 1, 18 minus 1 times 1.5, which is the t. So let's try to simplify. 18 minus 1 equals 17. 17 times 1.5, that is 25.5, plus 5, that is 30.5, which is already the 18th day. Therefore, he will row 30 minutes and 30 seconds on the 18th day. Okay, let's try the next problem. The next problem is, on what day will Mario first row an hour and more? What do you think is unknown? So a sub 1 here is 5 minutes. D is equal to 1.5 minutes. N is unknown. And then a sub n is equal to 60 minutes. Why 60 minutes? Because an hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay? So we have here, apply the arithmetic sequence formula. We will substitute a sub n equals 60 equals a sub 1 is 5 plus n minus 1. You don't have n, minus 1 times common difference is 1.5. So distribute 1.5 to each of the term inside the parentheses. So 1.5 times n, that is 1.5n. 1.5 times negative 1, that's negative 1.5. After that, combine like terms. 5 minus 1.5, that is 3.5, and plus 1.5n. Now let's transpose 3.5 to the other side of the equation. That is 60, just copy 60, minus from 3.5, that becomes negative 3.5, equals 1.5. So 60 minus 3.5, that is 56.5, equals 1.5. So our goal is to find n, so we will divide both sides by 1.5. So we can say that n is equal to 37.7. So what's this 37.7? Therefore, we can say that Mario will first row an hour and more on the 37th day or 38th day. uh, even though that's 37.7, that becomes 38 because we don't have point 7 day. So in the 37th day, he will first row an hour and more, because when you multiply 37.7 by 1.5 and add 5 minutes, that is 60.5 minutes. So that is 1 hour and more. Okay, so now let's go to the last problem. There are 125 passengers in the first carriage of the train, 150 passengers in the second carriage, and 175 passengers in the third carriage, and so on in an arithmetic sequence. What's the total number of passengers in the 10 carriages of the train? This question refers to the series, so we can apply the formula of the series. So we have here's the solution. The first term is 125. That's the number of passengers in the first carriage of the train. The D is 25 because it increases 25 persons in people in each carriage of the train. N equals 10 because there are 10 carriages of the train. And the unknown here is the sum of 10 carriages. That is n s sub n, which is equal to s sub 10. Okay, so the formula is this one. Why do we use this one? Because there is no last term. So again, we can use this formula if there is no last term. So substitute the given to the given formula. So n is equal to 10. So s of 10, the sum of 10 carriages of the train, equals 10 divided by 2. Again, n is equal to 10 times 2 times the first term, which is 125, copy, plus n is equal to 10 minus 1 times the common difference is 25. So let's simplify. 10 divided by 2, that is 5. 2 times 135, that is 250. Plus 10 minus 1, that is 9. And copy 25. Now, let's multiply 9 times 25, that is 225. Okay, we just copy 5 and 250. After that, simplify the numbers inside the parentheses or bracket. So we have 250 plus 225, that is 475. Then this means multiplication. So we have to multiply 475 times 5, that is 2,375. What is 2,375? This is the total number of all the passengers from first carriage of the train to the 10th carriage of the train. Okay, so we can say that there are 2,375 passengers in the 10 carriages of the train. Okay, that's all for today, and I hope you learned something from me. And it's time for you to answer the activity in Google Form. Thank you, and God bless everyone. Bye-bye.